Press it from here.
Oh really? Remote. Fantastic.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, okay, Chandra?
Huh. One moment. Before I was able to see a square and all that. Now I don't see it. Before I saw a frame.
Now there's nothing.
No. Now there's no frame. It's only my picture.
Just tell me when to go.
Okay. Start. Sorry, you have to come back again and...
What happened?
It's nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening.
No. Nothing is happening. Start. It's coming. That's it. Shall I close it here?
Yeah, just press it again.
So to start with, I think relationship to me is more important than authority. To have this distinction between teacher and disciple, already it's a relationship of authority. How not to have that authority. How not to use, not to have that teacher's tone when you talk to people with whom you are working. It's not even teaching, with whom you are working. You are sharing experiences, you are bringing your experience and knowledge to them. But I have a great need to be careful to not to fall into that tone, teacher's tone, which I think is part of a memory, something that you don't want, you don't want to be. So very often, like when I'm talking and I realize that I'm trying to correct the dancers, and suddenly I ask them, right in the middle of everything, I'll ask, am I getting a teacher's tone? And they say, no Chandra, never. So it's important to me not to have an authority. Even tantrums, throwing tantrums with them is much better than having authority. And this namaskar, touching the feet and doing pranam and treating you like a guru is something also I don't think between in teaching that relationship should come in. So as I was telling you, the etymological meaning of word guru is like Goha comes from dark and secret and those areas, all the cobwebs in the mind and dark areas, nooks and corners and all that. And Ru is to remove. One who removes is your real teacher. One who can remove those cobwebs, the dark areas in your mind, in your consciousness. So I believe that working with the consciousness to me is more important than just working with the bodies. So dancers' bodies, very important, technique very important, but not to achieve virtuosity, not to achieve some degree or some qualification, because all those qualifications in teaching are only quantification. They are not talking about quality, they are talking about quantity, how much you gather, how much you are accumulating. And so I feel that here the language plays some kind of a trick. When they ask us what is your qualification, I remember when I was asked once, what is your qualification? And that I gave the answer. I said my qualification is I have never done a bad thing before. And I said it not with pride but with humility. It's important to be humble enough to know that you do not want to do something which you think is wrong, which you think is not right. So I think these are the areas, important areas for me in working with people. What is your tone? How true you are? So words like honesty is a very important word in this whole process of education for me. How honest you are. How do you bring it to your work? What are your values in life? And to what extent you are honest about about those values when you are talking about it. So I feel that generally I would like to change the language between people with whom you are working, from authority to relationship.
Right.
And I would say that to feel that these people are in your life and you are training them and you are teaching them and you are, it's a whole process of education. But it's like walking from one end of the street to another, and you will give up that hand, you are holding their hand, you are walking with them. At the end of the street, you give up their hand and you go where you have to go, and they will go where they have to go. So you have walked from one point to another. It's a little journey, and in that journey, whatever you have seen, whatever you have taught, it can become part of the consciousness for both. But
Just about learning, how do you see the learning process? I mean, teaching is one thing, and what about the learning process? What is to you the learning process? Or how have you learnt? Or that's a very vague question, but
I think learning to me is how open you are, how you can absorb knowledge or whatever you want to learn through your skin, through your pores, through your eyes, through your ears, through this senses, rather than through a mental process. So even like in dance, when dancers have asked me, so is that the right foot first? Is that the left foot first? And after that you move the right hand or left hand, and I'm amazed. I look at them and I say, let your body talk to me. Let you talk to your body. And just do it. Because there is no other way you can tell your body. Your body has its own intelligence. Why not find out your body's intelligence? And you don't have to put everything through the mediation of the mind. So to me, I think the learning process is your openness, and through this openness you absorb everything rather than be judgmental and mental.
Yes, right.
I have learned everything that way. Just walking on a road is education, it's your schooling. You just look, you see a woman sitting by the roadside and suckling a child, and you see the shape of her breast and you see the child, and suddenly you see a cloud coming on the woman's face and she's not there, and then I wonder how she, the realities, the realisms, the harshness of reality has crossed her mind for that moment, and again that she's with her child back and smiling and all that. So I feel that as I walk on the road, that a woman could tell me so much about her life. Wherever you see, it's a question of how perceptive you are, how you are looking, how you are listening. This looking and listening to me is one of the greatest process of learning. You drink water and you feel the taste of that water. You are doing something and you see how your hand is moving. And my fingers are moving now. But what propels those fingers? I will, these are mysteries. And there must be, beyond learning, those mysteries which takes you into the irrational area of the irrational. And to me, the greatest area of knowledge is irrational. I would like to respond to that, and I would like to follow that and see the mysteries, to feel the mysteries, to perceive the mysteries, and knowledge, all knowledge is secondary.
Absolutely, but isn't it good that we can do this? No? So whenever you want to... Okay. Okay, go.
She's totally deaf.
I have become stone deaf. This is the problem. And so I am asking for a sign from your beautiful daughter to tell me when I could begin to speak to you. Well, it's such a pity she is here for only 5 minutes. I wish we could meet more often. I remember the lovely time we spent when you came last time. Such a lovely evening we had, 2 evenings, 2 very beautiful evenings.
That's right, that's right.
And I remember it very well. And thank you very much for these bold things. They will add to our collection of various oddities from all over the world. Thank you very much. She tells me that you are very well and you are working very hard. I am so happy to hear that.
Good. Great.
Well, all the best.
Okay. Baba, you want to say something?
I want to say that I'm composing a ballet now, and the title of the ballet will be Zahur and Sharada. And tell them to come over here and see this production of mine as soon as possible, otherwise it will disappear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye, Chandra, all the best.
Bye. So, whenever you want to start.
No, you tell me what, you ask me a question.
Okay, so my question, my first question I think is about teaching and what your experience has been as a teacher and also understanding the learning process.
Well, I've taught at a college, and later at the university also, for more than 30 years. And more than 30 years actually. Then I've taught at the NSD and a bit at mass communication. But my main teaching has been at college, literature and particularly drama, which I chose. I never taught prose or novel and things like that, drama or poetry. That was my choice. And fortunately the college agreed to do it. And what I felt was when in teaching, it's not, I don't believe, and I've had bad teachers like that who just, give you stuff and you reto.
Yes, exactly.
Or, they make notes, old notes, and they dictate. And
Right.
I passed through classrooms in which people were furiously writing away notes,
Right.
And what they would do also is to take away books from the library that were needed by the students, and they were, quoting from them,
Right.
so that the students had no access.
Right.
I'm talking of college teaching.
Right.
School, anyway, was a very good school I went to, I feel. But here, I feel that I couldn't do, I never believed in that kind of thing, and giving notes or dictating or, making them reto. My teaching used to be a noisy class because it generally, it started with asking questions and then, seeing, what was needed, it's not just information. I'm not talking about information. Information is just facts. It's knowledge. I feel teaching should be showing a way, opening horizons.
Right.
And then, exciting them into reading, finding things themselves.
Right.
So, sometimes I was quite mean, and my old students still tell me that if I told them, right in the beginning when I was teaching Shakespeare, for example, I wanted them to write what they felt about tragedy, instead of going to books. So I went to the library and confiscated all the books so that they couldn't,
copy. Yeah.
And they went to the library and found there was nothing there for them to, and they had to find things from the plays. That means they had to read the plays.
Right.
So the basic, I feel, that the student has to find for herself first.
Right.
And then the teacher guides.
Right.
That's what I feel is the teacher's work. That the student must find and must want to find also. And well, it can be that 100% students don't want to find things,
Right.
and want to be lazy. Well, one can't do anything about them, but I could say that most of the students in my class, at least, I was able to, inspire them to do something like that. Same thing I believe in theatre also, in doing theatre.
Yeah.
To get things, give an idea and then get things out of
People.
the
Right.
people as much as possible. Sometimes it's not possible, but as much as possible, instead of, dictating to them, move left, move right, do this, do that, put your arm up and down and say the line, copy me in line saying and things like that. And I feel that kind of teaching, probably I was in a school that something like that happened in Calcutta, where we were left free. A lot of freedom was given to us, and we used to make charts and things like that, and marks were given only on that. We never had annual exams in them. We had no exams, we had some tests. And the only exam I appeared in was the matric exam at the end. And in college also in Kinnaird, some of the teachers were definitely like that.
Right. Free
And
thinking.
so I had being fed that way, I felt it was much more exciting. And the classes would be exciting when students want to say something or want to express themselves, whatever.
Right.
The students do hesitate, they feel shy of others or what you might think and all that, but ultimately to give them the confidence to be able to speak up and say things, that is, I think is important.
I also wanted to have your perspective on space as a theatre person, dividing the space, or as soon as a performer, as you enter the theatre space, what you have felt or what you think is needed to make the space a creative center of a creative center, basically.
You see, the thing is that space, I feel, well, we are talking of a stage space, say.
Right,
Let us take
basically.
a stage
Yeah.
proscenium. And that is what we are used to
Right.
perform.
Right.
Now, what has happened with the Western influence in theatre, the naturalistic theatre that dominated us,
Right.
that is that space is a box,
Right.
with a window, door, a chair which is a copy of reality.
Right.
We just copied, and the space is a room. Then the curtain drops, then the space changes to a garden, then the curtain drops. So you keep changing the space that way.
Right.
But when you take space as such and our concept of space, and I think this is something that we in the subcontinent share, and the dancers would be more looking into it than theatre people have been, is that it is an empty space and it can be anything.
Right.
So, and space is not just that 30 by 24
Right. Area.
wooden
Right.
Yeah. As Shakespeare said, the wooden. But it's space from one to the other. For space, our imagination and the audience's imagination has worked. It's a challenge to the audience.
Right.
You see, what naturalistic drama has done for all of us is to make our imagination totally limited.
Right.
Totally limited. The
Right.
audience is totally passive, just watches. there is that holy space in which things are happening to which he has no access. It's dark, it's lighted and you're in the dark.
Right.
So you just don't have access to it.
Right, right.
But when you use space differently, in the sense, make it a free space, you move from one corner to the other and you've arrived in a different location.
Right.
Or you leap through space, and the space that is above is something, below is something, all around you is something else. You know. Then the spectator is challenged into thinking that. So his mind also works. You know.
Exactly.
He's not passive.
Exactly.
And so you take a round, and from your home you've reached a village square or whatever. You know, let's take notionally, and I mean, you may not have any prop there at all, or you just maybe put a tree there. And then the spectator said, oh my God, you know, this is how we can, you know, space can conquer time. This kind of space can conquer time and spatial limitations.
Right, right.
So that is the thing. It conquers time and space itself, you know, the limited space, shall I say. Because space is an idea, it's a concept of all, you know. But space is not just a room or you know, a little square or something like that. But space is a concept which I think we don't think about too much. We don't bother about too much. You know, it's given and we take it.
Right.
And especially doing theatre in the open, you know, in the street, that works much more.
Yeah.
And people accept. And when you think they're not the intellectuals.
No,
And theatre
exactly.
goers. They're street people who are walking around who come and see a play and they can accept it.
Yes.
And but if you look at art also, you know, if you look at miniature painting, you have a figure and you have something in the background, but there's no perspective, but you know it's there.
Right, exactly.
Far away somewhere.
Exactly.
You know, there's a forest or an animal or something. Or, it is there.
Right.
So how do our imagination work? You go further, you look village art. And they draw everything together. But they are there in some space.
Right.
The space in the mind. You know, and that is what we have to, I think, free our mind of limitedness that you know we have now. You know, naturalism, realism have made us limited in our use of space. And I think Shakespeare did use to great extent. When I was teaching literature, that I felt, I mean, and you know, my teaching also, if I teach drama, I can't just confine myself to the text and what it felt, but how was it produced? How was the theatre done? How did they speak? All that would come in.
Right, absolutely.
So Shakespeare, to some extent, because he had an open stage in front and there was a limited space, he did use the inner stage where, you know, room scenes would take place. To some extent, he divided the space.
Right.
All right. And the front space would be different things. But in our theatre, I think we should have left space much more free, you see, in the use of space. And then I feel also later Brecht also used space differently. I mean, he would use a prop to show what location it is. It's just the location. But the space is free, much more.
Right. Okay. Do you have any advice for me to do this thing in Norway? Like, is there something I should keep in mind when I'm doing this play or collaborating with these people? Is there a rule or something that comes to mind that you can...
I don't know actually, because I'm not sure who the other people are and how you're collaborating. The others are, one is a director.
Yeah, the director is the National Theatre Director, and the other people are dancers or actors. So I think
the participants are dancers or actors.
Yeah, only the participants.
And
it's a play without words. And
so you're the only outsider. As part of the...
No, there are two other outsiders, one from South America and one from South Africa. So I think it's going to be a expression-based play, obviously,
Yeah.
and a movement.
And they are dancers, are they? They're South American.
Yes, they're
They also
dancers and
dance.
actors. They're folk dancers and actors. So,
Oh, that's quite exciting, actually.
yeah, I know.
Possibly, in the beginning, I think each of you should, three of you, should show each other what you do.
Right,
Yeah?
right.
I think that is one, I think,
See that.
show each other what you do, and then as the text, then you'll have to, probably teach the students some movements.
Probably,
Ah,
probably.
I think you'll have to teach the students some movements, different movements,
Mhm.
and possibly get them to